This is the third episode of the David and
Jake podcast, and we've got a special one for you today because it is David's birthday today. Happy birthday, David. He's turning
Thank you.
He's turning 47 today. Congratulations.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I'm an old man, dude. Old man.
Yep, it's the Mamba year, 24. And
the Mamba year.
Yep. We're both very excited. Happy birthday, David.
Thank you.
Speaking of birthdays, the NBA is coming up on a birthday as well. It is going to be the 75th anniversary of the NBA. They used to be shooting on peach baskets, and now look where it's at. So, very exciting time for the NBA.
75 years.
Yeah, crazy. So, it's been 25 years since the 55th. It's been 25 years since the 50th anniversary team was announced. And so, we're not going to take anybody off the list, but we're going to add 25 new members to the list. So we're going to add 25 new members to the list to complete a 75-man roster here. So David and I are going to come up with a unanimous list. We've each come up with 25 members. If we disagree, we'll put it off to the side and debate at the end. So we'll just start naming names. I'll go first. I'm going to start with Kobe Bryant. I assume that's on your list.
Yeah, that's number one, of course.
Of course. We're very Kobe-centric here. This podcast will be shifting more towards the NBA as the season gets cracking because don't look now, but the NBA is going to start in 1 month. Can't believe it because it feels like young.
Oh, yeah. You guys are going to figure out our biases pretty quickly here.
Yeah, we might be Laker fans just a little bit, but we love the NBA. NFL's great. Music's great, but NBA is certainly our strong suit, so we'll be turning towards that. We're excited for the season and the 75th anniversary. So we start off with Kobe Bryant. David, why don't you name the next guy?
LeBron James.
Yeah, I think he just barely made mine too.
Yeah, just by a hair. It was tough. He was definitely like almost on kind of the what do they call it, the cutting floor. He almost got cut. He almost got benched, but
Can you believe he's in year 75? No, I'm kidding. Year 19 is pretty remarkable though, because no players looked like this even past year 16. So congrats to LeBron.
Exactly.
And they'll probably have a big year. Next on the list, I'll go Allen Iverson.
Nice. Yep. I've definitely got the boy on the list, of course. Yep. People. I feel like there's definitely some AI hate sometimes.
Yeah, and I realized as I got older, it was media driven. I always felt growing up, I kind of felt like he was a little selfish player, but I feel like he actually was a little team first sometimes too. So definitely misunderstood and important for the culture. He's probably not the third, best player of the last 25 years, but one of the first names that came to mind for now. So why don't you name the next guy, David?
I'm going to go with Tim Duncan.
Nice.
Big surprise.
Solid choice. A little overrated, but a great player. We can discuss his legacy as well. I think he's a little overrated, but he's one of the top 10 to 15 best players of all time. Of course, he's going to make a list of 75 players. Can't deny it.
True.
So I'm going to name, since you named Duncan, I'll go Kevin Garnett.
Yeah.
I've always been a fan of him. He said some questionable things post-retirement, which we'll probably have to discuss on another episode as well. But he was a fantastic player, and I think if you switch Duncan and Garnett, people would see that Garnett was better, but that's a different debate. But phenomenal player, probably top 2 or 3 power forward of all time. Could have had more rings if he was on a real team. No doubt.
100%.
Yep. Who's next on your list?
All right. Who do I got? I got the boy, Ray Allen, baby.
Oh, wow. So early.
Ray Allen in my 25.
I think I have him as well. I have to double check.
Oh.
I have him, but like a lot lower. So I think it's valid. I'll agree with it, but I'm surprised to hear his name so high. Why do you hold him in such high regard out of curiosity?
I don't. He's number 13. I just kind of like looked at. I was like, if we probably are gonna say the big names, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Early,
Yeah.
but I just, especially since later on in this list, it might start going more modern, even though Ray Allen's obviously modern, he definitely is one of those players who sort of bridge these two generations, I feel like. So you just got to give it up to the boy.
Yeah, phenomenal player. I just had him lower. I think it was more just top of mind, my list. It's not necessarily in order, semi in order, more towards the top, especially. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I can't argue with that one. A beast. I'm gonna say Kevin Durant.
Yep. He was actually number 3 on my list.
Yeah, Duncan was actually number 3 on mine. Looking at it, so I shouldn't even critique it. Let me write all ours down so we can call back to it. We are up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're rounding out the top 10 here. Who's the next name on your list?
Next name on my list, D Wade, baby. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of the dude as a person, not because of his children, but because of the dunk contest.
I name your
Still
selection.
salty about that.
Yeah, terrible choice. I'll give it a 9 out of 10. Good job putting Wade on there. Top 3 shooting guard of all time. In fact, you really have almost all the top shooting guards of all time going to be on this top next 25, other than, of course, Michael, because that's how great the two guard has really been. Yeah, I mean, you got Wade, AI, Allen, and Kobe. I mean, that's 3 pretty big legends for sure. It's funny you said Wade. I was about to say Wade. I'm going to go Steph Curry.
Ooh, nice, of course. Yep,
3-time champ, unanimous MVP. 73 and 9 in the regular season. Yeah, I mean, he could shoot. I've been to Warriors games before, and just watching him warm up or him and Durant for that matter. Durant is different because he just shoots mid range the whole time in like a hoodie. And just different kinds of mid range. It doesn't even hit like the net. It just goes straight to the bottom. And then Steph is more like for fun. He starts from like kind of the free throw, like a 3, and it's like the space between the 3 and the half court, and then the half court, he goes even further, and then obviously ends up with the tunnel threes. I mean, it's just even watching him warm up is special. So you gotta have Steph on there.
Yeah,
and a lot of kids believe he's the best. Yeah, that could have been one of his best, and he's getting up there in age, so his game is aging really well. I think it's interesting that a lot of people think, or it's a lot of the younger generation believes he's actually better than Magic Johnson, which is pretty wild. I would have to strongly disagree, but I mean, it just kind of shows you how, revered Steph Curry already is, and he's still in the league. So pretty impressive career he's had. All right. So I believe that's a top 10 we have. So it's going to start to get a little more debatable from here on out, I would argue, just looking at the names on my list upcoming. So I'm excited to get into this. I said Steph, so you have the floor. Who's next on your list?
All right, gotta go with the boy Nash. I think Nash could easily be. Well, I mean, considering our top 10, I guess he really couldn't be top 10, but he's literally right there. I mean, obviously before there was a Curry, Nash would have been in the top 10, I think. But because, I mean, one of the greatest point guards obviously ever, so versatile, skilled, legend. Yeah, what about you? I feel some hesitation.
This is going to be our first disagreement. I don't have him on my list. I do not.
No way.
And you could probably talk this up to Nash hate, because I am a Nash hater. But I think as we go through this list, you're going to see that it's going to be closer than you think. So I think we're going to have to put him to the side for now. He does hold 2 MVPs, but we both know that he did not deserve either MVP. Let's just keep it real. He's not really a 2-time MVP. I will strongly say that. We know that Kobe averaged 35 a game, and Nash averaged 18 and 10.
we do know
Come on
that.
now.
We do know
Come
that.
on now.
We do know that.
Let's just be real. Like that's not acceptable. So I think let's table Nash. He probably will actually make it, and I'm just a hater. And there's another couple players like that on this list you're gonna see that I guarantee you're gonna have, and you're gonna be surprised. Meaning I'm just a hater. So let's name another. We'll put Nash.
All right, you're up. Yeah, you're up.
No, name another person. Name another person. I'll give you another.
Name another.
I'm sure we'll agree.
Person. Ooh.
It's still early.
Who
yeah,
do
so
I?
just name another one.
Who do I want to bring out? Ooh. Yeah, see, man, it's just showing already. It's a tough list, but I'm gonna go with who am I gonna bring out next? I'm gonna bring out
A lot of choices.
Russell Westbrook, baby.
Yeah, absolutely on my list. A lot of people will feel like Westbrook is not better than Nash, I feel like. But I'm looking at his whole career because Nash struggled early and was great at the end. Westbrook's been great the whole time, and he's doing something that's never going to be done again. You know? He's averaged a triple-double for how many years? No one ever thought he'd average it one time. Or a person would average it one time, let alone. And he does stat pad, of course, but the fact that it's not easy to grab rebounds, it's not easy to get assists, especially because you're relying on somebody else. So I just think what he's done is pretty remarkable, even though he has no rings. What's your thoughts on him since he brought him up?
Yeah, I mean, he is like just the quintessential athlete. I mean, up there with LeBron, and that he is. I think he's one of those type of athletes like LeBron, where it's just he's ridiculous. I mean, as a point guard who can fly from the other side of the court right to the rim, who can jump in the air and grab rebounds, who can set people up for passes and steals. He's just all around as a basketball player. He's insane. Like if you were like, oh, I need to build a basketball player, he would definitely look a lot like Russell Westbrook, maybe with a better shot, but that's really about it, I think. And he's just had some tough cards dealt to him, I think. I mean, obviously he's missed moments in the playoffs, but when you look at all the other top players from his generation, his class, Westbrook just hasn't had the opportunity to have an easy ring like some people have, So I think that obviously this year is his year with us. So I'm excited to see it, and I'm excited. I think Westbrook's finally about to get the respect that he really deserves.
Yeah, I think he's definitely deserves some of that criticism because he's had some good teams. I mean, he's played with Durant, Harden twice. And then, well, Harden wasn't really in his prime yet the first time, I guess, but Durant, Harden in his prime eventually. Who did he play for in between? Oh, Paul George. So, I mean, he's had good teams, but I think he's cost his team, sometimes in the playoffs, but, you still can't deny he's first ballot Hall of Famer. And no one plays harder than Russell Westbrook that I've seen. So I have a lot of respect for him. All right, so this will officially round out my top 10, at least that I've written down. I have Chris Paul.
Yep. Yeah.
Yes.
Of course. Back in the day, I always wasn't a fan of Chris Paul's smugness. I would just look at him and be like, God damn, it's just a smug motherfucker. But his game IQ is just so ridiculous. I mean, just even in that Phoenix series, watching him do things to the other team, just the tricky little things that he was doing that nobody could stop or that nobody could even match in that intelligence is just crazy. And it's crazy to see him do it still. And, he's aging like fine wine. So yeah, gotta get it.
Yeah, his game was built to last. His height is the only thing really holding him back, and he still plays with a lot of heart. He's similar to Nash, so I'm curious, real quick, who do you think was better, Paul or Nash? I think a lot of people would take Nash, but what do you think?
Oof. I think that Chris Paul.
I'm going Paul personally. Yeah.
I think I'm going to go with Paul because I think that Chris Paul is so dangerous offensively. I think he's more dangerous offensively than Nash was. And I think he has the same game. I think he's the smartest player ever. So got to go with Paul on that.
Yeah, that's probably what sets him apart. Like, not to say Nash was, not smart as well, because obviously he was. Offensively, they're so similar, but yeah, Chris Paul can score a little bit more. Nash is, they're both great passers. It's a good discussion. Sorry, stutter there. All right, who's your next pick?
Pick is Dirk Nowitzki, baby.
Oh yeah, no doubt. We should have said him earlier.
Yeah, we should have said him earlier. Yeah, it's a little disrespectful. I don't know if there's much to say about Dirk. He is still, there's still just not many players like him, I mean, he's just so, and obviously, I mean, the Mavericks must have like a hard on for white players that can shoot, but
yeah,
Dirk is, yeah, he's a special player, man. I mean, he's basically unstoppable. So
yeah, I think he made top 10 all time scoring. He won a ring. He could have won two. A lot of people think there was some controversy actually with the first ring, but he got his revenge in 2011 against Miami. They played Miami twice in the finals, if you could believe it, and he won. He went 1-1, but. Fantastic score, unstoppable move. I think every kid tried to practice that fadeaway growing up, at least during our time. So I think what would have been cool is obviously it's not possible, but like if Luka, Doncic, and Dirk play together, how fun would that be to watch? No defense we played, but they sure would score a lot. All right.
Who do you got?
Good choice. I'm gonna go Kawhi Leonard. I think he has to be on the list. Probably one of the best defenders we've seen. Yeah. His rings are not as impressive as people think, but, it's still two-time champion. Can't take that away. Great scorer, great defender. And, there's not much more you could say. He's probably one of the best forwards, we've seen in a long time. So, yeah, I think it's a no doubt he has to be on the list.
100%, and he definitely has some clutch moments under his belt. Yeah, he definitely has some clutch moments under his belt too. So, yeah, he's done some things. All right, who do I got next? Getting a little in the modern era here. Definitely got to go with the Greek Freak, baby, Giannis.
Nice. So I think this is an interesting one because like. It's so early in his career. He's going to be the youngest player on the list. I guarantee it, because he's only 26. So this is like. So I'm glad you brought this up, and what he's done. But he's already a two-time MVP, just a one-time. He should have been two-time Defensive Player of the Year, and obviously now a champion. So I think that alone makes him qualify for the list, but I think what's funny, Giannis is like the Shaq of this era, one, but is the Shaq of our list too, because Shaq made the 50 greatest players list, but he hadn't even won MVP. He was on the Magic. He had won no MVPs, no championships. So, but they knew that Shaq was going to make it. So they feel like this is the Shaq of our list. I'll let you go ahead and talk about Giannis as well.
Yeah, I definitely saw that parallel too. I mean, it's just crazy at the time when they made the list, the 50 players, they just were like, who else is like Shaq? Nobody, right? Nobody that we've ever seen. And I think that Giannis is the same way. It's just we've never seen anything like it. Giannis is like Shaq with more mobility. He's not as unstoppable in the paint as Shaq, but he is the Greek Freak. I mean, he's incredible, and he's a champion. He's a fucking champion, fucking two-time MVP. And now that he won that chip, there's really not a lot people can say about Giannis right now. So,
I think what's interesting, you bring up the mobility with Shaq. Shaq used to be super mobile. He used to be able to do those things that Giannis did when he was young. In the Orlando years, you watch him bring the ball all the way up the floor like a guard. But I think the difference is that Giannis is like Shaq, but with Kobe's work ethic. And that's why when we discussed this earlier, I think he'll be the GOAT one day because he's already unstoppable. He can make it from the 3-point line to the rim on 2 steps. That's impossible to guard. And his jump shot isn't horrible. Like, obviously it's not good now, but it's like, if he worked on it a little bit in the offseason, I get it. We see the air balls on the free throw line, but at least he's not afraid to shoot like some other people in Philadelphia. And we will not mention their names because they're irrelevant. So, so great pick. I think, let's count it out. 1, 2, well, I'll count it out. Kobe, 1, LeBron, Allen Iverson, Tim Duncan, Garnett, Ray Allen, Kevin Durant, D-Wade, Steph, Westbrook, Chris Paul, Dirk, Kawhi, Giannis. All right, so we're about 15 players in with Giannis. Perfect. I'm going to go with Jason Kidd. You disagree?
Ooh, yep. No, he's on my list, of course. Of course.
This is my favorite point guard growing up, actually. I think I can't say he's the best point guard on the list, but he's I thought he's the best point guard of the 2000s, at least. Not including AI, which we're not sure if AI is a point guard or not. But, I mean, Jason Kidd's passing ability is insane. He had a rough start to his career, but he really turned it around and he became a completely different player. As you saw, he won that championship in Dallas as a spot-up shooter when people thought he could never shoot. So I think his career is very impressive. First ballot Hall of Famer. I want to say he's in the top 5 assists, but I did not fact check that. But I know he's up pretty high on the list and the triple-doubles list for that matter. So phenomenal player. Took 2 terrible teams to the finals before that. People forget because they got smoked. But but he still made it. He made it to 2 finals with garbage teams, and they got Vince Carter, and then they never made the finals again. So I don't know. But that's the one shady part of his career. But I thought he was still a fantastic player. What are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, I mean, he's a 5-time NBA assist leader, 10-time
Really?
NBA All-Star.
That's crazy because it was such a pass first point guard era with Nash. Paul wasn't really there yet, but like Nash was there. You would think Nash would be because he was a really pass first player, and he could have been more of a scorer. So that's shocking that Jason Kidd. And there was Penny Hardaway too. A lot of great passers.
Yeah, Penny Hardaway, a big what if guy there for a later season, or later segment. But co-rookie of the year as well. I'm seeing in '95. I wonder who that was with.
Grant Hill.
That was with Grant Hill. Wow. Yeah. So
Jason
Kidd definitely
that was kind of
on there.
Yes.
Oh no, I had no idea. I thought you sounded pretty confident on that.
I want to be right. Now we're looking up co-rookie of the year. Jason Kidd and
wow.
It was right. That's like a pop quiz trivia question only NBA nerds would know. Ourselves. All right, I think we're at 16 or 17 here.
All right, we're getting into the weeds. Ooh, all right. I know you're not gonna like this one. I already know you're not gonna like it, but
I already know who it is.
I got Carmelo Anthony, baby.
Oh, okay. That's fine. I thought it was someone else. I actually have Carmelo. I was gonna say Carmelo next. You're good.
Okay. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Carmelo. Obviously, he will win a chip this year or next year. He'll win a chip next year, but he's the quintessential player of the 2000s. Even 2010s as well. He's definitely had some questionable career decisions. Don't know who was managing Carmelo Anthony at the time, or who his agent was, but he probably should be shot in a back alley or something. But Carmelo did make a lot of money. Obviously, New York Knicks, biggest franchise, but he's an incredible scorer, man. He's just such a ridiculous threat on all ends of the floor, and he's one of the best. So gotta put Carmelo on there. What about you? Any thoughts on Melo?
Yeah, you kind of alluded to it. Not a fan of Carmelo Anthony at all, but has to be on the list. He's one of the greatest players of the 2000s, and one of the greatest scorers in history. I think he's top 10. He entered top 10 this year, so congrats to him. But, those Denver and New York years, I thought he was a selfish player, personally. Took a lot of shots, had a lot of turnovers. He was kind of like the original Durant, though. As someone at his size that could score from any part of the floor, but a lot more physical and strong. He could go in the post a little bit. Decent rebounder. But as a scorer, we have seen very few players like him. Defense, he could have been a great defender, but he, chose when he wanted to defend, I feel like. But, Hall of Famer, first ballot. No question in my mind. All he wants now is a ring, which is understandable. And people forget he had those Olympic years. I guess people don't forget. They bring him up all the time. But still, he was on
no, that is the one. That is the some of the only hardware in Melo's,
Well, he won at Syracuse, I guess.
Other than the college years. Yeah, other than the college years. Exactly.
Yeah, so people bring up all that stuff when, even though we're talking about his NBA career, but thank you for bringing up the Olympics. The college is what Melo defenders will do. But, you can't deny one of the greatest scorers ever. I don't love that he's on the Lakers, personally, but, it's all good. We'll see what happens next with that one. Okay, so I think now Carmelo's kind of the last no-doubter, I would argue.
Yeah.
I think pretty much everyone after this is debatable. So we'll see what goes on here. So who's next on your... Oh, no, you picked Carmelo. Sorry. Okay, let me look at my list. Wow. I really don't love a lot of the people who I've listed here. I'll go with someone I do love. I'll go Dominique Wilkins.
Ooh.
He should have been on there.
Was he not on the original list?
No, he was not.
Wow.
I don't know why. Let me confirm that. But I feel like he wasn't, is what I read. And he wasn't on the Dream Team either, which he should have been over Chris Mullin. I think that gets lost because a lot of people bring up the fact that Isaiah Thomas didn't make it over John Stockton, which is even worse. But Dominique Wilkins is not on the original list, like I mentioned. And he should have been. He's a fantastic player. A little similar to Melo in terms of ability. Big kind of combo guard forward, freak athlete. Really one of the freakiest athletes in NBA history. And he got those offensive rebounds. And Atlanta was a lot worse than the talent Carmelo had. And, unfortunately, Dominique had the Eastern Conference. A lot of people will bring up, the East is so bad now. But back then, the East was tough. You have to beat the Boston Celtics, young Jordan, and the bad boy Pistons just to be relevant. The Knicks were good. So not an easy conference just to, make the finals. And he didn't exactly have a lot of great players around him. So I think what he did was phenomenal, personally. So I love watching his old highlights too. That's a great one. If you're a real NBA fan, definitely look up his Game 7 against Larry Bird. It's one of the all-time great games. So do you have any thoughts on Dominique?
Nice. He's not on my list, but I didn't know that he wasn't on the top 50, or else he might have been. But I don't have too many thoughts.
Do you agree or disagree he should be on the list? Because I can take him off, kind of like Nash. That could be my Steve Nash, I guess.
No, let's save him for now because I might have some questionable decisions later on here. So let's not jump the gun.
I feel like there's gonna be one or two I'm gonna disagree with out of pure hate. But all right, so Dominique's on for now. I think we're nearing the 20s. I should have numbered these, but anyway, go ahead. Who's on your list next?
Yeah. I'm gonna go my boy Reggie Miller. Love Reggie. Number 3 on the all-time 3-point list. At a time when he was really the only fucking one doing it. Obviously there were others, but he was so just far ahead. Great player, classic moments. He is one of the last remnants of the great Malice in the Palace, which we discussed earlier on. And what else does he have? I mean, 5-time NBA All-Star.
He made one
Um,
finals at the
he
end.
made one
Only
finals
person,
towards the end there.
really the only person to take Jordan to 7. I think there are a couple
Yeah,
others, but I mean, once Jordan got past Bad Boy Pistons, he only went 7. I think that one time, 98 at the end. So, yeah, no, I think he kind of revolutionized the game a little bit with his 3-point shooting, and then he had that famous play, of course, against the Knicks when he stole the ball. What was it? I don't want to get the number wrong. Like 9 points in 13 seconds, I believe.
yeah,
To
something
tie
like
the
that.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the greatest moments in basketball history for sure. So I think at the time it was probably tough to put him on, especially because he has no rings, but he had no rings at the time, obviously. So it's kind of a debatable one, but he was actually next on my list, so I definitely have to agree. Very similar to Ray Allen, actually. All right, I think I have to do it, but I really don't want to put him on. Paul Pierce is next on my list.
He's on
Oh
my
my
list as well.
goodness. You know what's
I
sad
know
is
it
he's
hurts.
from LA and he hates us. He hated the Celtics growing up. He's from Inglewood, and he ended up being a Celtic legend. He didn't even want to be in Boston most of the time. He wanted to be traded because they got so bad. But credit to him, he stuck it out, and he got his ring at the end. So good for him. And a really good player. Had like an old man game, but he got it done. And he was actually super. Well, I shouldn't say he had an old man game. He was athletic, but really solid player. That's an interesting debate. Who do you think is better, him or Carmelo? I think you gotta go Carmelo.
Ooh, that's a good question. I think I gotta go Melo. Yeah, I think Melo's a little I think Melo's a bit more versatile. And I think that
Yeah.
Melo might hold down a team better. But they're very similar in ways.
Right. That's why I brought that up for sure. I think it's close between them. Okay, so we're getting down to it here. This is gonna be interesting. Last
All
few
right.
names, go for it.
All right. And this is the one that you didn't want to hear. When I said
Oh no,
Melo earlier, this is the one you didn't want to hear. But I'm going to do it anyways. I'm going to say it anyways. James Harden. James Harden.
No. Gross.
I mean, yes. Are there a lot of free throws in there? Yes, there are. But
for sure,
you can't deny that as an offensive threat. James Harden, there's not a lot like him, and as a scorer, sometimes he's just pretty much unstoppable. I mean, there's very few players like Harden I've seen in games. I've definitely seen him choke for sure, but I don't know if he has ever been the team leader type of guy anyways. But just as one of the greatest offensive talents, I gotta put Harden on there.
Well, I think you answered your own question. He's not a leader, terrible defender, turnover machine. Definitely did not make my list. But it's similar to Nash, right? Like both probably belong, but I just dislike them. I'm tabling them for now, and we'll say because we have Nash and Harden off right now. I'm sure there'll be a name or two that you or I bring up, and we have to be like, all right, Nash or Harden's better than that one. So I'm gonna say table that name as much, even though you're probably right. Okay, wait. So you're gonna take Harden over Dame or Kyrie? Okay, wait. But
no spoilers. Go ahead, no spoilers.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Sure.
No,
I shouldn't spoil this.
It's your pick. It's your pick. Yeah, it's your pick.
Oh, okay, fine. All right, I'll take somebody else. Ooh, okay. We actually named a lot of people on my list already. Well, obviously, right? I feel like you're gonna make fun of me if I say it. I'm gonna go Kyrie Irving.
Oh, dude, he's on my list too.
He has to be, right? That shot was pretty crazy.
I think it has. Yeah.
I think you have to be honest with me. Is Kyrie Irving better than James Harden? I don't know. I feel like he
I
is,
think that
personally, at this point in their careers.
I don't think that Kyrie Irving's a better scorer than James Harden at all. But I think that Kyrie Irving has the best handles ever, and I think that
But that's kind of like okay.
Well, yeah, he has the best handles ever. I think he can attack the rim, better than most people ever. But I think that Harden's just a point machine. Like, so, what do you think?
I think that's a fair point because once you said Harden's probably a better scorer than Kyrie, and it's like, all right, that's kind of like all Kyrie does. So I'll concede. I'll put Harden on. I'm not ready to put Nash on yet. I'm not ready to put Nash on just yet, but I'll put Harden on. He's just too good of a scorer. I think people would be offended. Well, people will be offended no matter what, but if Harden's not on there, it's a bad look for the list. So I'll do it for the brand. Go ahead. Who's next?
Yeah, we got to get this on TikTok once we record it.
You know what's funny is like
this is gonna
I'm looking at these names. I'm just looking at the names left on my list. Like it would have been kind of embarrassing if I put some of these guys over Harden. But anyway, go ahead. I want to hear your next name.
This is gonna be a controversial one. So get ready, strap in tight, hold on tight, because I'm going with Anthony Davis.
Ooh,
yep.
That's an interesting one.
Yep. I think that AD is underrated. I think that when AD's at his best, he's absolutely unstoppable. He is a fucking 7-footer or close to it. I think he is 7 feet, right? Or 6'11". Either way, he's a 7-footer.
Yeah, just about it. Yeah, just about.
He's a 7-footer who is a threat on all sides of the field. I think injuries definitely have held him back in some years, but he is still so young. I think he's only, 28 years old. And if he's able to stay healthy, which is questionable and debatable, he's going to be a ridiculous problem. But he's already an 8-time NBA All-Star starting from 2014. And I think he's one of the GOATs. I think he's one of the best we've seen. So, all right. What do you think?
I want to put him on, but I didn't have him originally because of what you brought up, the injuries. So let's table it for now because we have 3 names to go. Let's see if the names I bring up are better than Anthony Davis. I'm going to start with Dennis Rodman.
Yes, he wasn't on the list, yes.
He was not on the original list, which was weird. Probably because he was so controversial at the time, but I think he has to be on the list. And he's not better than Anthony Davis in a vacuum, but he's had the better career, a 5-time champion, and all those rebounds. I think he has to be on the list over Anthony Davis, even though if we were drafting players and building like a team, of course I'd want Anthony Davis over him. Kidding me? But he's actually smaller than Anthony Davis and has all those rebounds too. And, Anthony Davis sometimes checks out of games. Rodman played with so much passion. So I think I'd give a slight edge to Rodman for our 23rd member here. So I'll give you the floor. Who's number 24 on this list? On your on your 24th birthday.
Oh man, now you have me. I don't know what to do now because this is where it could get incredibly embarrassing.
Okay.
I have something in my head. I have someone in my head, but I'm not sure if I should say it. I'm not sure if I should do it. But I might have to do it anyways. I might have to do it for the culture. So I'm gonna say. Oh no. I'm gonna put my boy, our boy. Oh no, I can't do it. Oh no. Sorry, audience.
Who is it gonna be? The anticipation's so crazy. Who is it? Say it. Do it. Say it. Let's go. Let's put it on record.
I don't know if I can say it.
I think I know who it is. Go for it. I want to hear it.
I'm gonna say. Oh no! I'm gonna say. Pau Gasol.
Fuck no. Not even close.
Wait. I mean, is there not an argument here, though? Is there not an argument for Pau?
Make your case. Make your case. Let's hear it. Go for it.
Okay. All right. 6-time NBA All-Star. 2-time NBA champion. Okay. Pretty dominant player in his prime with us. I mean, I think that even back in the day, I was a bit of a offensively terrible defender.
Right.
But offensively, with Kobe, he was kind of holding it down with him as well. And I think that a lot of times we look back on it and we're like, you know, there definitely was a lot of Gasol hate going on there. But I think that considering the circumstance, I just feel like he has to get some more credit than he does. No? Maybe not?
I think it's weird because he was super underrated when we were growing up because people were bashing him because he was so bad defensively. And I used to read the LA Times, and they always had a picture up on the cover, obviously, like because it's a newspaper. Great point. But he'd always like have the funniest faces and stuff. So he would just look like kind of a clown or a goof, but one of the smartest players ever, in my opinion. Phil said he's the one who's mastered the triangle the best. So I'm not trying to slander him because I actually really like him, but I just think he's become so overrated now. Personally, we could table him. He was 7 feet tall and did all those moves.
Let's table him.
And he's a great passer. So I don't, he's going to be in the Hall of Fame somehow. But, it is what it is. He was a great player. Like, but it's just, that's so funny that you brought him up. All right, hold on. Here, I'll throw a name out here. See if you think this guy's better than Pau Gasol. I think he's a little bit better. I'm going to go Dame Lillard.
Okay, yeah, he was next. He was next on my list, yeah.
Okay, so we both agree on Dame. Okay, so why don't you close us out then, and we'll see who our 25th is. I have a lot of names. I don't even know who to pick anymore.
I think that might be. I think I'm out of people because I had Dame too. So that's my 25th.
Oh, okay, got it. I put some honorable mentions on just in case, so I got a bunch of names.
Okay, but who's your 25th though?
Because that
wouldn't be. Was that your last?
I mean, there's still some people we haven't named. We've named about 28 of my 22. There's like 3 on my list we haven't. Harden wasn't on my list and I added him, so that's kind of helped.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, we named pretty much everybody else. There's 3 I have. So here's the 3 I'll just name them. I'm deciding between Gary Payton. Oh no, 4. Ooh. Sorry, excuse me. Gary Payton, Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady, and Chauncey Billups. Those are my 4.
Ooh.
Can you believe I had Chauncey over Steve Nash? What a dumbass I
am. One of those I think that Vince Carter and Tracy McGrady. Tracy McGrady, it might be kind of disrespectful to not have him up there.
But his career was kind of cut short because we kind of have to go with. We can't go off the career he would have had if he was healthy for some of those playoff runs, especially 2008 when they would have beat us. Like, as much as I hate to admit it, they would have beat us if Tracy and Yao played because it took us a 7 without Tracy and Yao. I mean, we're not winning that series with those 2 out there.
But what's crazy, though, is that even with his injuries cutting him so short, he still is a 7-time All-Star.
No, he had a whole... That's
pretty
the one,
crazy.
And we've talked about this already, but I feel like he had a full career. So I don't feel like his career was cut short. He didn't win championships because he was injured. Or at least one. and especially in Orlando, and obviously we'll get into the what ifs, but that could be a what if, because Tim Duncan was supposed to join Tracy in Orlando and he didn't because of Doc Rivers. Well, kind of because of Doc Rivers, but it's controversial why he didn't join. But so
fuck Doc.
You're a Doc Rivers hater. I don't mind. Other names I have: Chris Webber, Rashid.
I had Weber too, but I wasn't too sure about it, man. I was just like, I was trying to find something, but I don't know.
I think
it seems like he kind of had a short lifespan as well, you know?
Yeah, he had some injuries towards the end, and he kind of got drafted to a bad situation. You know what's crazy is Orlando wanted to draft C-Web, but like Shaq stepped in and said, "No, I want to play with Penny," which actually ended up being the right move because Weber, who would have passed him the ball?
What the fuck am I talking about? Like all these people could take Pal's spot. I'm bugging.
You're bugging on Pal. All right, you know what? I think here's what the debate boils down to: Steve Nash and Gary Payton. I think those are the two. Would you take them both before Anthony Davis? Maybe Anthony, because I have Davis and Nash tabled. Pal's not getting in, and I think Gary Payton is. I had him pretty high on my list. What do you think out of those three?
Ooh. Shit, Steve Nash actually is. I thought he would be higher on the all-time steals list for some reason.
He wasn't a good defender.
That's really tough. I honestly think that Steve Nash is just one of the top players of the 2000s, man. I really think so. I mean, Gary Payton, obviously too. I mean, fuck, NBA 9-time NBA All-Star. Oof.
I think you might be right.
21,000 points. But go ahead.
I think you might be right. I think we're gonna have to take Steve Nash over Gary Payton. As much as I don't want to do that at all, I hate Steve Nash. I really do, and I love Gary Payton, but I think we have to do it. So I think that's the list. I'll read it out one more time for the listeners. This is not in order. This is not ranked, by the way, even though Kobe's better than LeBron. But anyway, here it is. Here is our list of the next 25. And they will announce the real next 25 if you follow along with the NBA. So we'll see. We'll compare it.
Actually,
we'll do a reaction.
Really quick though. Gary Payton has 21,813 points and 8,966 assists with 5,269 rebounds. And Nash has 17,387 points, 10,335 assists, and 3,642 rebounds. So it actually kind of balances out because Gary Payton is actually only about 1,000 less assists than Nash, but he has 4,000 more points and 2,000 more boards. So this could actually be a pretty controversial take here.
It could be. I think what's interesting is what the direction I would go when I was making this list, right? Because it is close. I think Gary making the finals kind of had an impact on my decision to put Gary over Nash. Both really, like, Gary Payton won a ring at the end on Miami, but he was kind of done. Both really didn't win a ring. Nash kind of got robbed that one year, which is another what if. But I think you're right at the end of the day. Even though Gary Payton's a much better defender, Nash is just so cold offensively, man. There's no stopping him. And Gary Payton was great too. So, Gary Payton is like one of my favorite players. Not one of my favorite players, but like a player I really like over a player I really hate. So this hurts. But I think here we go. I'm glad you brought up the stats because that is actually very interesting. Okay, so one more time. Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Allen Iverson, Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, Kevin Durant, Dwayne Wade. At number 10, Steve Nash. No, sorry, not Steve Nash. Steph Curry, Russell Westbrook, Chris Paul, Dirk Nowitzki, Kawhi Leonard, Giannis, the Greek Freak, Jason Kidd. Oh, shoot. You know what? I made a mistake. We can put both on. Let's go. I numbered it wrong. So let's put both on and then the debate. Perfect. Both over AD? Yeah, I guess so. That's hilarious. I put 15 Jason, 16 Kid. My fault. All right. We'll read that part again. My bad. All right. Wow. All right, I'll read it over. Steph, 9. Russell Westbrook, 10. Chris Paul, Dirk Nowitzki, Kawhi Leonard, Giannis, Jason Kidd, Carmelo Anthony, Dominique Wilkins, Reggie Miller, Paul Pierce, Kyrie Irving, James Harden, Dennis Rodman, Damian Lillard, Steve Nash, and yes, Gary Payton. We actually had room for both after all that debate.
Oh, perfect. Sweet. Okay, I think that's a great list.
Is that actually 20? Is that actually 25?